What's up, everybody, and welcome to the SP and Bushy Show. Two lifelong friends who got together, decided to do a sports podcast. I'm SP. With me, as always, is my buddy Bushy. Bushy, how you feeling?
I'm feeling really good, my man. Kind of stuck in quarantine right now. So, just trying to keep going right now. But, actually saw a couple of movies that I've never seen before, such as first one is actually Say Anything by starring John Cusack. That's the first. I've never seen that movie until literally last week.
I gotta be honest, I've never seen that one either, actually.
I've never seen it either. It's a really lovely, delightful film. I mean, but it's just like, it's funny. It's just like, we were kind of taught that it's just like, oh, he kind of wins her over back with like, with the boombox over the head. Obviously that's the most iconic scene, but it's just, that's in reality. Like, he really doesn't win her back over that. I mean, that's one of the weird things about that. It's just like, yeah, he kind of does it, but she doesn't make this like this grandiose, Hollywood thing where, she comes running into him with his car and the boombox over the head and they kiss or something like that. No. And the movie still goes on for like another 10 minutes after that. Like, I thought the movie ended after that, but really it didn't.
Interesting. Yeah, I've never seen that one. I know I've heard things that I should see it. Should I see it?
Yes, you should see it. Does your lovely fiance have seen this movie? Have some?
I don't know. It's not one that we've brought up a lot in conversation.
You know what? Kind of bring it up, and then maybe if you haven't watched it, maybe you can watch it, and then just as like with me with Just Friends, I probably would want the Say Anything review the next week.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I'll have to maybe do a Say Anything review.
Yeah, we'll have to do that. Yeah.
Coming in the future. But today's episode is all about bad decisions, too, as we are going to talk about some bad decisions that happened, obviously, in last week's playoff games. We're also going to delve more into Bushy's list. Bushy, any other films that you watched that we need to know about?
Well, we'll see as we kind of scatter along through this podcast, really. Yeah, when we kind of recap stuff.
Excellent. Obviously, it was a good weekend to be quarantined with Super Playoff Weekend. 3 days worth of football games. I mean, couple of blowouts, couple of good games, a couple of bad officiated games. I mean, this weekend was crazy.
It was, and it just, it kind of felt mad to me. I mean, yeah, you had a couple of good games with the Cincinnati Raiders game. Yeah, and obviously with the officiating with that. And then Cowboys 49ers was interesting as well. And everything else kind of just felt meh. Like, really, other than the Pats really getting blown out by the Bills, that was fun.
That was delightful. That was the most fun. That was the most fun I've had in a blowout ever.
It really was. It really was delightful. You were just like, I just want to keep watching this. This is amazing. How many points are they going to keep putting up?
Like, honestly, the only thing that would be better than that would be the Rams just destroying the Buccaneers this week.
Well, that could be it as well. Yeah, but it's just like, the Patriots have done this all this time too, about putting up 50 burgers on a lot of these teams, and it's just really fun when it comes back at them and they actually do lose a lot of these games, and they lose by this type of score as well.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was great seeing them do what the Patriots have done for so long to like teams like the Jaguars, and to see it finally be done to them, I thought was great. I loved every minute of it. It was fantastic.
Yeah, and really, I mean, I watched probably like a half of the Steelers-Chiefs game. Like, really, after that first half, I was just like, okay, turn this off. You know what? I'm going to watch something that I haven't seen. You know what? I'm going to watch Invasion USA starring Chuck Norris. That's what I'm going to watch, really. I mean, I thought that was probably a lot more interesting than the Chiefs-Steelers game, in my opinion. And to be honest, it was. I was very delightful with Invasion USA starring Chuck Norris.
Another one that I haven't seen, but I can't imagine it being worse than the Steelers-Chiefs game. That game was such a dud. It was one of those games where, like, we filled out an application to adopt a dog during the game. So
really,
hopefully I'll have a new mascot with me next week.
The new mascot.
In any event, it was a dud of a game. You could tell, like, when the Steelers weren't capitalizing on their defense early in the game, that there was just no way that they were going to be able to stay with the Chiefs, especially with the way the Chiefs defense played. They locked down the Steelers and, I mean, really made it a lopsided, boring game.
Yeah, and it really did. And, I mean, it just felt like really, I mean, the Chiefs were Chuck Norris, and the Steelers were, basically this rogue Russian gang. This combination of Cuban Russian gang. Really, that's what it was. That if there was a perfect analogy for Invasion USA, that's what it was.
Nice. I'm going to make the Walker Texas Ranger reference and just say that it was basically the Chiefs were Walker Texas Ranger, and the Steelers were whoever he was roundhouse kicking that week that was dealing drugs in the local community.
I know, yeah, and kicking butt and taking a force. Really, I mean, it was really good because it's just, like earlier in the week, I watched Missing in Action. That was supposedly like one of the better Chuck Norris action movies. But I came in at like very unimpressed. But you do got to give that to the fact because I think Stallone he basically kind of stole that premise to make the next Rambo, Rambo First Blood Part 2. So that's a plus. But I prefer Invasion USA. A lot of gunfire, a lot of bullets. It was really fun, and it's just like. And I think thinking about this as well when it comes to why we like Jean-Claude Van Damme so much is that like he actually gets beaten up in like a lot of these where it's actually kind of like a fair fight compared to like a Schwarzenegger, Stallone, Seagal, Norris. It just feels like they go against these top billed guys and they just kick the crap out of them. They're just like boom, 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 and like boom, boom, bam, he's done. And it's like the main bad guy doesn't put up a fight where it's like. At least Van Damme gets his butt kicked sometimes in some movies.
Yeah, Van Damme's the only one of those guys who's really not afraid to bleed. I mean, I guess maybe Stallone is a little bit when he's playing Rocky, obviously, when he's Rambo. Like, he doesn't get his ass kicked so much. He does a little bit in the Expendables, though, Stallone.
Yeah, he does a little bit in the Expendables, but yeah, like really, like not so much. But it's like, yeah, Schwarzenegger.
He gets his butt kicked enough in the Expendables. Like Stone Cold Steve Austin beats him up a little bit.
Yeah, just a little bit, but it's just when it comes to like Rambo or something. Yeah, Rambo, he doesn't really probably do. Same with Cobra, Tango and Cash. I mean, I don't think anybody leaves a scar on him. Same with Cliffhanger. I think the mountain beats him up more. True. I think the mountain beats him up more than everybody else in Cliffhanger.
It's a very valid point. Maybe that's what we'll do next week. Maybe we'll do a Cliffhanger breakdown.
That could be our NBA All-Star preview.
Yeah, Cliffhanger breakdown. We've also talked about doing potentially Seagal Under Siege. So maybe what we'll do is put up a poll in our Twitter, saying what movie would you like us to break down.
I want to know how many people would vote on that. Okay, that would be
in a battle between Under Siege and Cliffhanger.
Battle between Under Siege and Cliffhanger,
or Under Siege 2 and Cliffhanger. I don't care.
Oh, Under Siege 2. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we'll have that.
I don't care
as well. Yeah, but it's just like I just want to see how bad did these guys get their butts kicked? Like really, like it's just one of these things. I guess because I've just been watching so many action movies lately. Like it's just like I never really noticed it until now. I'm like. These guys really don't get hurt. Like they don't get their butts kicked, after a while, which that's the reason why I appreciate Van Damme because I think my favorite Van Damme fight is when he fights the giant penguin in Sudden Death. The giant penguin in Sudden Death. That's the best fight in like action movie history. I'm sorry. It is.
It probably is. And I mean, the penguin does more damage than, like you said, any of the henchmen do to Stallone in Cliffhanger.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's just the proper use of just all these stuff and just artifacts and like the way the mascot dies. Like that's a unique way.
That's fantastic. I mean, obviously, anyone who's probably ever worked in a kitchen or seen like an industrial kitchen probably has thought about having like a brawl in there. And I mean, it was the perfect backdrop for Van Damme fighting this giant penguin.
Yeah. And does the penguin ever feel it really? Because it is a big poofy mascot costume.
Very poofy costume.
Very poofy costume.
Insulated from some of those Van Damme kicks.
Yeah, Van Damme kicks. I don't know though.
I don't know how mobile the penguin was. So I mean, I don't know. Had the penguin not been in costume, would he have won that fight?
Oh yeah, and the penguin was a girl too. I think people forget about that too. The penguin was a girl as well. So it's just like Van Damme's best fight was against a girl in a penguin costume.
Very true. And like I said, he's not afraid to bleed. That's why we like him so much.
Yeah, he's not afraid to bleed. And yeah, I mean, and then the henchman later, I mean, he tries, getting him with that and, tries to stab him, but then he stabs him with the chicken bone.
Oh yeah. Can't forget about that one. Can't forget about the chicken bone.
can't forget about the chicken bone. But yeah, I kind of went off topic here.
Oh, that's okay. I think anyone who's a fan of this show knows that we go off topic quite a bit.
We do, yes. But we've gone off the rails a little bit too early. Usually it's the last like 10, 15 minutes of the show.
I mean, obviously, the controversial officiating in the Raider-Bengal game, terrible call to blow the play dead, and then obviously a terrible call to allow the play to continue in that game between the Bengals and the Raiders.
I couldn't believe it. I heard the whistle as it happened. I'm like, it's just one of those. I'm like, did he blow the whistle? Like, it sounded like it, like he blew the whistle. And I'm like, he blew the whistle. And then I'm like, there's no way this play should be allowed because they blew the whistle. The play's dead.
But Burrow
I'm surprised the Raiders didn't put up more. He wasn't out of bounds. I know.
It's still in bounds.
I know. And it
wasn't. The result of the play should have been allowed because he should have never blown the whistle anyway.
Right, and it was too. It wasn't like Joe Burrow was kind of like teetering the sidelines. He had a few patches of green right there too. It's not like it wasn't like, oh, he's teetering the sidelines. Like even my size 13 feet, could have still been in play.
Right, absolutely. It was horrible. And I mean, I think Jerome Boger and his team wanted to hit Hawaii early. They didn't want to work another game this season, and they wanted to get that vacation underway.
I think they found out that if they worked this game well, they probably would have gone to the Green Bay game. So they're like, hey, guys, let's screw this up. We don't want to go to Green Bay in middle of January or the end of January where it's probably going to be like, I don't know, below zero the start of the game.
I mean, the joke about these teams is one that are one and done is one in Cancun. Maybe Boger and his crew wanted to do one in Cancun themselves.
Yeah, they wanted to be one in Cancun. They were like, okay, this was a longer season given the extra game as well. And yeah, they that was a bad job by them.
Was it? I mean, it's got to be one of the worst officiated games. Obviously, it's the anniversary or was the anniversary of Saints Rams, which is the worst officiated game in history. But I mean,
and the tuck rule was a couple of days ago as well.
The tuck rule, yeah.
Oh man, that's
the tuck rule, the Space Jam game. I mean, those are all very horribly officiated games.
Oh yeah, they were all. Which Space Jam game? The first one or the second one? I don't know.
I don't even talk about the second one. I talk about the first one.
There weren't even. I don't think were there even refs in the second game.
I don't know.
Looking back at it,
I've tried to block out much of that movie, so I'll have to go back and watch our review of it just to remember what happened in it.
I don't think there were refs.
Space Jam or Marvin the Martian is just letting everything fly.
He's just letting everything play. Yeah, he was just Jerome Bogart. Oh man, Ed Hockey. And it really is just kind of like a shame as well. It's just, man, like why are the refs just really screwing stuff up?
The officiating has gotten worse in sports, isn't it?
It feels like it. I think because of just with Twitter and with social media that everybody can pinpoint my God, what a terrible call this was. Wow, I can't believe they made this call,
I don't know. I don't remember such an egregious no call as we had in that Saints-Rams game a few years ago where they just completely put away the whistle to make let anything happen. And then obviously this game where they were just making mistake after mistake in that Bengals-Raiders game.
Right, that and we could talk about too with the I guess we could talk about too about the 49ers-Cowboys game as well. I mean, that was a really bad officiating game, but some of the calls were defensible. It's just Randy Gregory basically putting the guy in a bear hug and tackling him.
Yeah,
that is the defensive holding.
Defensive holding.
Yeah, that is defensive holding.
If you can't tackle the offensive lineman, you can't do that.
You can't do that. No. As much as you can.
That game I didn't think was that badly officiated. Dallas just made a lot of penalties. I didn't think that game was poorly officiated.
Well, it just feels horribly, officiated in retrospect, especially with that terrible. I mean, it was just bad fourth quarter decision after bad fourth quarter decision. It was just no team wanted to win that game for some reason.
Right, but I mean, I think at the end of the day, it falls on the Cowboys. I think obviously as we get into our big topic of the week, I think it's one of the worst play calls I've ever seen to run it on that play with 14 seconds left. If you even get a holding, game's over because then obviously you get the 10-second runoff with no timeouts. I don't get the strategy there. And then obviously, I mean, they were basically boxing out the referee from even getting to the ball. It's
no, the problem. Yeah, I know. No, I do got to give the linemen credit because they were kind of ready. They were ready to get ready and get set. Like you got to give the linemen at least a little bit credit. Like
Oh yeah,
they were getting ready. They were getting set for the spike and all that. It's just they accidentally boxed out the referee because of it.
right.
It
I
really
mean,
wasn't
they
just a
did.
dang shame.
Yeah, they boxed out the referee, so I mean, it was kind of tough.
It was, yeah. I mean, it
Like,
was
how
just
is he supposed to get through there? I mean, they did a good job of protecting the gaps, but there was no way for him to get through.
that was the best blocking the Cowboys offensive line did that entire game. Really, that was the
Very
best
true.
blocking. That was the best blocking they did, and it was just kind of it's just one of those just like really kind of one of those weird spur of the moment dumb decisions. I mean,
Now,
dumb
obviously,
decisions, dumb
like,
execution, dumb 2-minute drill. Do teams practice 2-minute drills everywhere? Like we see it with Vic Fangio with the Denver Broncos, and now we see it with the during the Vic Fangio era, and now with the Dallas Cowboys with Mike McCarthy. I'm like, do teams practice 2-minute drills anymore?
I mean, obviously some do. I mean, we've seen it. Obviously, Brady knows the hell out of a 2-minute
Brady
drill.
and Rodgers, yeah.
Brady and Rodgers know a 2-minute drill. I mean, I don't know who else you could say does. I mean, I think the Bills do. The Rams do.
Yeah, certainly
The
the Chiefs
49ers
too.
do.
Yeah.
They may not have executed it against the Cowboys, but they plan it.
Yeah, they did plan it. Yeah.
We saw
Also,
it the week
yeah,
before against the Rams.
I know. It's just weird. It's just teams don't practice 2-minute drills really. Or like these situational things where it's like, okay, we're down a minute.
Well, let me ask you this. Obviously, the Broncos, we're both Broncos fans, are looking for a head coach. Kellen Moore, one of those candidates. Allegedly, he's the one who called that play with 14 seconds left. Does it hurt your opinion of Kellen Moore as the next head coach of the Broncos? Like, if the Broncos tomorrow announce Kellen Moore as the winner of this thing, would you be upset?
No, I wouldn't. I kind of really like his offensive mind, really. And I feel like if that's the case, I feel like Dak is just as good as Drew Lock. Really, kind of that sense. So it's just really, and he has some good weapons too. So I don't think it really hurts that type of thing. I mean, hopefully he kind of learns from this type of mistake. But really, that offense was really sluggish until the fourth quarter. Really, I mean that's the thing that is kind of the alarming part, really. And same with with Dan Quinn, with him being kind of the favorite. I mean, it really did. It felt like a Fangio defensive coach team, really. I'm like, I know we can't take like one game, away, but like the playoffs, but I just felt like that was a Vic Fangio-esque type of defensive game plan, really. They let basically the 49ers run right roughshod, literally the first start of the game. And then when he needed them the most, they really, the only reason they got the ball back was because of the 49ers incompetency, really.
I mean,
That game should have been over.
See, I'm not as against Dan Quinn as it feels like a lot of people are, but after that game, I do not want any piece of Kellen Moore. I think that was terrible. And, I mean, I disagree with you completely. Dak is way better than Drew Lock. Drew Lock sucks. Dak is not that bad. And, I mean, I think Dak has helped make a start out of Ezekiel Elliott, who I don't think is that good, and some of these receivers who I don't think are as good as the Broncos receivers. I think Dak is way better. I would take him over Drew Lock right now. If you gave me the option, I would take him over Drew Lock right now. But I cannot fathom hiring Kellen Moore after that decision. Like, I can't deal with more bad clock management. And obviously, what we saw from Kellen Moore last week was bad clock management.
And that's how I feel too about Fangio as well, or not Fangio. Yeah, that's how I feel about Fangio. But that's how I feel about Dan Quinn too. I just feel like we're just going to get Fangio 2.0 as far as the clock management, and I feel like he's going to get outcoached by some teams. I mean, that's what I'm very, very afraid of that.
I'm hoping we get Eric Bieniemy, but
it's either him or I want him or Hackett. Like, just give me that.
But I think we'll probably end up with Dan Quinn. So get ready.
Oh, geez.
Get ready. But in any event, we're going to talk about it. I mean, obviously, the Kellen Moore thing brought up this topic that we were going to discuss this week of terrible, terrible play calling, bad decisions in games. I brought this topic up to you yesterday. We've done some research since then. Obviously, horrible decision, I think, by Kellen Moore to run the football there. I think it's one of the worst decisions I've seen. Even when they try to justify it, they're like, well, would you rather have one shot from the 25 where you run 5 verticals or 2 Hail Marys from the 40? 2 Hail Marys from the 40. Give me 2 Hail Marys from the 40. You don't even need to do Hail Marys. If you even fake a Hail Mary and then go short to the sidelines, you still have the opportunity for the 25-yard play that you were trying to run. I think you got to go call that one of the dumbest plays I've seen.
Yeah, I mean, it is a dumb play, really. I mean,
Horrible
it's just,
decision.
it really was like a horrible decision. And it just, yeah, it was just horrible decision and horrible execution. I mean, that's just like really the cream of the crop when it comes to that, as far as with all that fun stuff.
Like, you almost would have had to tell the referee ahead of time if you were going to pull that shit and be like, hey, I'm going to run this. Run behind me so that he knows.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, just like, hey, I'll ride
like, you got to warn the
behind.
referee on that.
Yeah. Or dumb decisions is hiring Cliff Kingsbury, for a second half coach. Second half of the season.
Oh, whatever. I don't put any stock into that. You take DeAndre Hopkins was out the whole second half of the season. That's their best player.
And they didn't show it all in the play. They didn't show it during that wild card game. That was a very frustrating game.
Well, it was, but like I said, DeAndre Hopkins is their best player, and he wasn't on the field.
Yeah. Well, again, it was so bad. Like watching that Monday night game, it was so bad. Really, I had to watch it. I was basically, it was either that, it was that, but it was so bad. I was just like, I want to watch something. So I ended up watching a documentary on 1970s East German women Olympic steroid scandals.
Wow.
Come on. I've hit that part of quarantine where I'm watching 1970 East German women Olympic team steroid scandals.
That's bad.
Yeah, that is bad. It was quite interesting, though, but quite bad. Yeah, it's just like I'd rather watch that than an NFL playoff game.
Well, I mean, obviously that game was a dud. I didn't really watch it, but,
You didn't miss much.
I could see the score as it was going on. I celebrated my fiance's birthday. Happy birthday, Andrea, as we kind of had like a weekend-long celebration of it. But in any event, I think, that game was a dud. And if I had the choice, I probably would have taken the German steroid movie over it.
Yeah, it is a good thing. I feel like I made the right decision.
Yep. Obviously, we were talking about bad decisions, though. You made the right decision on Monday, but we brought it up many a time. You can't talk about bad decisions in coaching or in sports without talking about Vic Fangio. What was your least favorite, or what was the worst decision you think he made in his tenure?
Well, it's just, God, the list is, probably that
list,
long,
right?
or something like that. Yeah, it's like, that thing.
Obviously there's kicking the meaningless field goal in his last game against the Chiefs. But that one's not as egregious, I think, as last year's finale, where he called the timeout to basically help the Raiders come up with their final play. That one's like probably the worst one.
Well, it's like that, and it's just
that one's my least favorite. That one's my one.
Bringing in Pat Shurmur as an offensive coordinator,
right?
That was a bad thing. That was bad from the get-go. Like I was just like, what?
I'm talking about in-game decisions, though. Obviously hiring Pat Shurmur, horrible move. And then, obviously, if you look at bad decisions throughout this history of sports, tons of drafting. You could look at drafting throughout history and look at all the bad picks that have been made. I'm talking in-game situations. And for me, Fangio's worst came in last year's finale against the Raiders with time winding down. He takes a timeout that essentially helps the Raiders call a play.
Yeah, it definitely was probably the downfall, really, of, probably of his tenure, or really like the downfall where everybody was like kind of looking at it like, why is this guy here? Obviously he got the one more shot, but that didn't last for a season.
Wow.
Yeah, it's just, yeah.
Yeah, that one was one. Obviously, it feels like he had a ton in his horrible, horrible tenure.
Yeah. well, dumb decision I kind of thought of really too, and kind of went on the top of my list really, and that was just really, yeah. It's just you got to kind of think about it too with Chris Webber in the '93 NCAA Final Four game. It's like not only does he travel, like the refs didn't call it travel on that, and he calls it timeout when the team didn't have timeouts. really, and
Right.
basically cost Michigan the game. Really, I mean, who knows if he's the one not dribbling up for some reason? I don't know why he was the one dribbling up.
Yeah, that's a horrible decision by the coaches. That whole play, horrible decisions by Michigan. Obviously, that team had the talent to go very far. And then Weber calling the timeout that he didn't have. That was obviously on my list too. It's one of the worst decisions we've ever seen. And I mean, it was a dumb, dumb play.
It was. I mean, it was just one of those. I was kind of doing research on it. And I was like, oh yeah, it's one of those. It was one of those type of things. It really was. I mean, it was just bad.
What are your thoughts? I mean, obviously, in recent weeks we've had a bunch of them. It seems like because you had the Giants QB sneak on 3rd and 9 a few weeks ago too.
Yeah, Giants QB sneak of 3rd and 9, or the refs decision of not throwing a flag on the Rams for a clear pass interference against on them. I mean, that just helped them agree again. That made them go to the Super Bowl, and basically our worst Super Bowl, really, because that was
Worst
a
of all
boring
time.
Super Bowl. Yeah, it was. It was the worst.
It gave us the most boring Super Bowl in the history of the world. Versus think of what could have been if they'd thrown the flag there, and we'd have gotten Brady versus Breeze.
And I think that was probably Breeze's last great
Right.
time to really go to the Super Bowl. Really,
I
didn't think they were going to go in 19. I didn't think they were going to go in 20. Right. I think that was.
Think about third and 9. Or no, think about what would have happened if we'd had Brady versus Breeze in that game. Man, that would have been so much fun. Or what really should have happened had they not been calling a bunch of penalties on the Chiefs, and we should have had Chiefs versus Saints, which would have also been amazing that year.
We could have had Chiefs versus Saints. That definitely would have been a fun team. Yeah, because it really was. Because the Saints were a really, really good team.
They were the fun team that would have been fun to watch.
Yeah, they were the fun team that would have been fun to watch, and it really was. It was one of those years where it's just. I think that was the football gods really punishing us for a crappy call by the refs. Somehow we got punished,
right?
As fans,
the world got punished.
The world got punished. Yeah, and it's just bad decisions and all that.
Obviously, look at bad decisions. I got to bring up another one of my favorite ones. It was the one where the New England Patriots won the toss and elected to kick in overtime in a playoff overtime game. I think it was against the Jets where the Patriots won the toss and they ended up kicking in overtime. So obviously the team goes down and scores. The Jets go down and score, and so the Patriots lose an overtime game to the Jets because they chose to kick it in overtime. You never kick it in an NFL overtime. You can't do it.
You never do. You always take the ball. You always take the ball. No matter, even with these new rules, you always take the ball. You could always drive down and score a touchdown and win the game. So you can always have that. And yeah, I mean, that's just we've had instances of that. The Lions against the Bears one year. It wasn't in the playoffs. So that I think that's what kind of helps
behind this. And it's the Lions. There's not an expectation to them I mean, you obviously you gotta look at the Lions. I mean, it's just part of the Lions' history. But I mean, the Patriots, a team like that, making that kind of mistake, it is highly unlikely. And I mean, you have Tom Brady, so choosing to kick in an overtime game makes no sense to me.
No, it doesn't. And it's just, probably back in that time, yeah, where it was just literally next score wins type of scenario with that. And yeah, I mean, it's just, yeah, I never understood that. Never kick, always take the ball.
Take the ball.
I know in crazy weather, you try to be fancy, but no, take the ball.
Take the ball.
Yeah, take the ball as well. And it was a funny thing too. I mean, looking back at it, just kind of thinking about this, there was a game actually in 2009. The Broncos were playing the Colts, and I knew this from like a rule because I knew it happened. If you're the deferring team you can always elect to be like, no, we want to kick off. And that's what the Broncos did that one time. The obvious, lovely Josh McDaniels era, but it's just like they kicked off twice to start the half. They didn't get the ball, in either half to start the half. No, they kicked it off twice.
Which, again, is why Josh McDaniels hasn't gotten a new head coaching job ever. It hasn't really been talked about in that regard.
No, and he's always that candidate that everybody kind of mentions on like kind of that first half at the top, but then it really just dwindles down because nobody likes Josh McDaniels.
Well, I mean, how many branches of the Bill Belichick coaching tree have just failed miserably in recent years?
Oh, it's basically all of them. Yeah, Joe Judge is another sacrifice of the Belichick tree, and it's really one of the reasons why I never really. Yes, I will. Belichick will go down as probably one of the great coaches, but he won't go down as probably the greatest coach because of the coaching branch. Really, the coaching branch is just awful.
Well, yeah, and obviously it looks like Tom Brady might have been bailing him out all those years.
Yeah, it could have been as well. Yeah,
your boy Tommy's.
Yeah, that wasn't a fun game either. We didn't even talk about that game.
Oh, did you watch that game?
I watched a little bit of it, and yeah, it was just one of those. It was just like, why am I watching? I don't need to watch. Okay. We clearly know who the better team is.
Right. I mean, what did I watch instead of that? I definitely didn't watch it. What did I watch?
I actually did not watch a movie at that point. Yeah, there wasn't a point, I know it was just one of those.
I might have watched the movie, but I'm trying to remember what movie it was. It wasn't Men in Black because I rewatched that 2 weekends ago. That was still a good time though.
Yeah. Did you watch Men in Black 2?
No, God no.
Men in Black 3?
I did watch Men in Black 3, yeah.
Men in Black, the animated series?
I watched Men in Black 3 for the first time. It was all right.
That was, yeah.
Still better than 2.
I mean, I've just seen the first one. I think I saw the second one as well. But, yeah, it's just I haven't seen the third one. It's one of those I'm like, nah, I'm good with just the first. Just give me the first.
Yeah, it wasn't one that I felt like I needed to watch, but it was just randomly on. And
right.
I didn't have anything better going on, so I watched it.
Probably better than watching Tommy like decimate the Eagles and Jalen Hurts,
right.
Turn it into a pumpkin.
I've seen that movie before.
It just makes that, just watching that Eagles game really just makes it more frustrating. Like, I'm just like, how do we lose to these guys? And like, how did Vic Fangio make, Jalen Hurts look like Cam Newton 2.0?
Yeah.
Because he was amazing in that game. Like, it was just like, he was diming everything. And it's just like, you're watching this game and I'm like, is this the same quarterback?
Unreal.
It was. It is very unreal.
Horrible. God, I want to think of what movie I watched on Sunday. What the hell was it?
You really get it? Yeah.
Was that?
Yeah, you trying to figure it out?
Nah, it's not worth it. I'm not going to do it on air in any event.
Okay.
What are some other bad decisions you recall?
Well, just kind of thinking as well, kind of thinking about it since we are hitting the 42 year anniversary, coming up of like the Miracle on Ice, and that's really, you got to question the Soviet coach really and pulling Tretiak. I mean, yeah, he gave up 2 goals, but like the other one was just okay. The first one, yeah, that was a bad goal. He gave up a bad goal, but that second goal, I mean, it was just like one of those just weird type of fluky goals that I think doesn't happen again. They pulled him for a backup goalie. You pulled the greatest goaltender of that era.
Do you think that the Soviet coach, this is a conspiracy theory here, but do you think the Soviet coach had money on the U.S.? Like, how much money do you think he made at the sportsbook by betting on the U.S. back in that day?
I don't think he ever heard of the word gambling.
Oh, come on. Russia's basically controlled by the mob, isn't it? Like,
knowing this type of coach, I don't think he ever heard of the word gambling. Like, it's just like, what does the sports
that's
book?
my conspiracy theory is that he needed some pay off some gambling debts and he bet on the US.
You need to lose to the Americans.
He bet on the US.
Yeah, okay, yeah. We up 3-2. Okay, we need to let them come back. Okay, you take penalty. Okay, they score. They score with on the power play, and then if it's 20 seconds later, you let this guy go roaming free through the slot, have a good shot.
Yeah.
Michigan, you're in too. That's my bad decision. But yeah, it was kind of like a dumb decision. I mean, it's just like you pulled the best goalie of that era.
Right.
I saw highlights of it. He's like amazing.
Yeah, you got to let him finish out that game. He's the horse that got you there. I mean, I think you got to let him finish it.
Got to let him finish. And yeah, I mean, he just had it. I think he just had a bad period. Goalies have that once in a while.
I mean, like we saw though in the movie Miracle though, you got to look at it. Like he did not know how to coach from behind.
That is true. He did not pull the goaltender as well. That was one of the strange things as well. You look back at it and really watching that game, they're just like, I don't think they really practice those scenarios because they always kick the crap out of teams. Yeah. They're like, oh, we don't need to worry about an extra attacker. Behind. Yeah, we've never played from behind at all. We don't have to worry about an extra attacker.
Yeah, I mean, I think, yeah.
Well, it's like there's some like dumb decisions as well. There's some, there really is, just kind of thinking about that too. I'm kind of thinking about Dan Orlovsky as well. Obviously just running, not knowing, the field is, 120 yards, 120 yards in length. He thinks it was 123 and running out of the end zone.
Yeah. I mean, Dan Orlovsky has definitely become one of my favorite analysts, but he definitely did not make good decisions as a player in that one, obviously being one of them.
I mean, it's just one of those that's just like, it's the thing that he's going to live for forever.
Right. What about Rick Pitino in the Final Four game of not sending anyone to defend Grant Hill on the inbound pass to Leitner?
I mean, that was kind of a bad decision as well. Yeah, it's just kind of, or giving him some room to at least kind of heave the ball up, instead of having a defender maybe trying to knock it down via Hail Mary style as well. Yeah, I mean, there's just some questionable stuff, really. I mean, it's just him getting all that as well. And, of course, too, the guy just kind of standing there really not doing anything. I think he was kind of shocked that Leitner even got the ball.
Right.
As well. It's just like he kind of just stood there with like this.
Absolutely. I mean, you also can't talk about bad coaching decisions without talking about Pete Carroll, Super Bowl against the Patriots, Super Bowl 49, and the decision to throw the ball rather than run it with Marshawn up the gut at the end of that game when you had a timeout.
You had a timeout, and they gained, I believe, 4 or 5 yards before that play on a running play. So, yeah, I think the Patriots were going to try to let him score, try to get some time back for Tommy to make a comeback as well. But, yeah, I mean, really, I think that's really kind of – even though, yeah, they've had some good seasons, but they really haven't been that dominant team, that dominant Seahawks team that we've come to know. Yeah.
And they had won that one. That would have been back-to-back for them, too.
It would have been back-to-back. They probably would have gone down as probably the team of that decade, really. I mean, people would have been talking about them as probably being the team of that decade, really.
Plus, I mean, even if you don't run it with Marshawn and you do like a fake-up-the-gut bootleg, Russell Wilson's one of the better running quarterbacks of that time, too. Like, I don't get the strategy there at all to not run either of them. It's one of the worst of all time.
Right, that, and they ran like a quick slant as well too. So it really was just like a baffling decision as well. Sure. I know just get the ball to Marshawn. Like it's okay.
Right.
I know you can defend. I know you can defend. I'm like, oh, Marshawn was never a good goal line back or something like that. But it's just like, yeah, but he gained 4 or 5 yards, literally the previous play. Like. Really, if it wasn't for probably a Herculean effort, Marshawn probably could have scored on that first play.
And then but even if you fake it and pass, there wasn't even a fake.
There wasn't a fake. No, it was just a straight pass play. And Belichick knew it too. They were just like, oh, he's going to do this.
Yeah. Like I don't get it at all. That's a horrible decision.
It is a horrible decision. I mean, it's just get the ball. Just give the ball to Marshawn. Just do that.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you got to if you're thinking about that around that time as well. I mean, really, it's just not playing like a prevent, really kind of a prevent defense against going back to the game that shall not be named, the 2012 divisional playoff game against the
Oh yeah.
Ravens. Yeah, where it's just it's like the dumb decisions, and it's just like, why aren't you playing just prevent defense, really? Kind of let Flacco just kind of pick you apart, really. I mean, it's not like they
Well,
had they only had like 45 seconds, really.
I mean, for me, the worst decision was okay, after they scored that touchdown, the touchdown didn't end the game. Like the Broncos had the ball back with what, 30 seconds left and 3 timeouts?
They had a couple. Yeah, they had at least a couple.
Like the Broncos get the ball back with timeouts. And I mean, I don't get the strategy of not trying to advance at least in the field goal range and kick a game winner. You have
Uh,
Peyton Manning. He's one of the greatest quarterbacks. You have the most dominant offense, one maybe of all time. Like how that didn't happen is a beyond me.
It is. It is. It's just. It really was a frustrating game. Just as far as with that, not playing really good defense, and then just taking a knee really and playing to overtime.
And then you don't even get the chance.
Well, they went into double overtime. They had chances, and then obviously,
So
yeah, they fell.
yeah, I
Manning with
don't
a
like
crucial
it.
turnover. Yeah, yeah, it's just so bad.
I mean, obviously that was kind of an era. I mean, you look at John Fox's career, and he didn't have. I mean, that whole end of the game was full of mistakes, and then on top of it, you have the year later where the Broncos advance to the Super Bowl, like we mentioned, and then just get blown out because Fox didn't have them ready to play.
Yeah, and they didn't look at, and yeah, the Seahawks came ready to play, and they definitely beat the Broncos very handily that day.
They did.
Yeah, but yeah,
Horrible
just
decisions from the John Fox era too. So maybe we were holding Vic Fangio to too high of a standard, but basic clock management things were too much for him. So
yeah, no, it's just no, he was definitely bad. I would definitely take John Fox over him any day.
I would too. I would also take Dan Quinn, although he's next up on my hit list. The decision by Dan Quinn to try and run the clock out in Super Bowl was it Super Bowl 51 against the
Yep.
Falcons? I mean, the decision to basically try to run the clock out the whole fourth quarter as opposed to actually trying to get another score. That to me was horrible, horrible decisions by the Falcons. It felt like they spent the whole fourth quarter trying to run out the clock as opposed to trying to bury the Patriots.
Right. Yeah. And then just horrible decision after horrible decision and letting really Tommy back. And then obviously the game goes into overtime, and then obviously they don't even get a chance to
Exactly.
get the ball back. Yeah. And it's just Tommy just kind of goes in, and you just kind of knew. You're like, oh man, the Patriots are going to win this, aren't they?
Yep.
We all knew it. Yeah. All right, I got a bad decision. Okay, I got a bad decision as well, and that's all the Pendergrass. Okay, and I watched Easy A, so it's just all of Pendergrass, the Emma Stone character. Just kind of lying to her best friend that she hooked up with I mean, that was just really just kind of a bad decision for her. I mean, really, she should have just said, you know what, I didn't have a. You know what? Just tell the truth. I don't like you. It's like I didn't like your parents. I don't like your hippie parents. I'm sorry. I don't like your hippie parents. You know what I did all weekend? I just literally just kind of danced around while listening to I Got a Pocket Full of Sunshine, really. I mean, that, been nice. That way, boom, you sweep it under the rug. You're like, oh, okay, I get it. No, and then it falls, tumbling and all that. And basically she becomes like a fake prostitute.
Yeah. But I mean, she did make some money along the way without having to do the sex part of the prostitution. So,
That
I
that
don't
is
know.
true. Yeah. She did. Yeah. But the 20% off, Bed Bath and Beyond. I mean, that's just you don't stoop to that low. Come on.
I mean, like I said, I didn't think it was the worst decision I've ever seen in movies, and maybe that's another episode that we have to do at some point, the worst decisions in movie history.
I mean, how many bad guys go with the speech instead of just killing the person?
Well, and that for me is like one of the more egregious ones. I mean, I'm assuming you've seen the movie Scream, right?
Yeah.
Okay, well, spoiler alert for a movie that's been out for 26 years. But the fact that the villains like explain the plan to Sydney before just killing Sydney and executing the plan, that one's almost the worst to me than in any action movie. Like, like they have her right there, and all they needed to do was just stab her. That's it.
Yeah, they're just explaining the plan and just laughing like a
Or like,
hyena.
I mean, the decision to stab each other before stabbing her is the dumbest decision maybe in movie history. Like, why would you stab each other before stabbing her?
They got all
It's a
too
horrible
warped up.
plan.
They got all too warped up with movies. Well, they thought too that way they survive. You know, they have like this fallback with this person. I'm trying to remember who the fallback is. Yeah, but it's just
It's her
actually
dad.
Scream. Yeah, I think her dad was going to be the culprit. Yeah.
Yeah, but like the plan would have worked totally if they just kill her first before stabbing each other.
Yeah, instead of just stabbing each other, or it's just like I know that is true. Why they had to stab themselves, or they stabbed themselves in like the abdomen area too, like it's like the stomach area. I'm like, it's kind of a bad thing. Just stab each other in like the quad area.
Well, I mean, the quad.
Go below the belt a little bit. Come on.
Quad, you can maybe hit the femoral artery, but like even then, like I said, plan works if you just kill Sydney first.
Yeah, but this is like they go to like the side, or they go to like the side or something like that. Isn't that what usually happens when when you get like prison shanked?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like
hit an organ. Like if you don't hit an organ, and if, like they said, if you go to the side and not too deep, like you're fine.
Yeah, but they went a little too deep. They got a little too egregious too. That was a dumb decision as well. They got a little too deep.
They did.
But they got all up in that knife, and it wasn't about a knife.
But even again, just wait and stab each other after killing Sydney. It's that easy.
Yeah, and that way, boom. Yeah, you stab, boom. Then then it's the dad. Then you fight. Yeah, then they can blame it all on the dad. Then he gets arrested.
And then you make it seem like Sydney killed him, even though, or you guys killed him after he killed Sydney. I don't know.
Yeah, you could easily have done that.
Yeah,
as well. What I mean, what would have been their plan afterwards? Obviously, they got on this crazy murder spree where they're murdering like kind of their inner circle of friends for some reason. And it's a small town too.
Maybe make a movie.
Did Matthew Lillard or that guy really like
each other in a movie? I don't know.
Did Matthew Lillard or that guy really like anybody in the town?
Obviously not.
Yeah, obviously not, because they went on like a murder spree, and they murdered like close people too. I mean, like close friends. It seems like too. It's not like oh, here's this random nerd girl or something like that. Oh, there's the jock that we never talked to. No, it's like people kind of the inner circle, at least a little bit, that they kind of know.
Yeah, I guess. They were
strange murderers. Okay, that was
they were. Murders. I mean, because obviously I don't know what their plan was. I don't know what their real plan was with like Jamie Kennedy's character either. Like, were they going to kill Randy? It didn't seem like they were really going to ever. They just kind of did by accident.
Yeah, they were. Yeah,
they shot him in the shoulder, so he would have lived too.
I know. Yeah, they would have been like, oh yeah, Jamie Kennedy probably would have blamed.
It's like, oh wait, but we survived. Our plan almost worked. Oh wait, Jamie Kennedy. We didn't kill Jamie Kennedy, and he just told them that we were the killers.
He was bad. He was bad. I have to admit, I was not a fan of his character. Actually, it was my first time watching it during Halloween, so. I mean, just striking off my virgin movie list, really.
So wait, you weren't a fan of what? The movie Scream?
No. I said I was not a fan of Jamie Kennedy's character. I loved the movie. I really did.
I love Jamie Kennedy's charter.
I was not a fan, but I did love Matthew Lillard. Matthew Lillard was like the best part of that movie.
I mean, Matthew Lillard's probably the best part of most of the movies he's in.
Him, Scooby-Doo. He was actually really good at She's All That too. I really liked him in She's All That.
He's good in She's All That. He's good in whatchamacallit. He's good in Summer
Okay,
Catch
Summer Catch, yeah.
with Jessica Biel and Freddie Prinze Jr. Good in
Yep.
that.
He's good in that. Yeah.
He's great in that.
Yeah, he's good in like anything, but I just feel like he was just so good in this. He was completely like this amazing over the top character.
He sure was. He was great in that.
He was. I enjoyed it. I have you seen the new one?
I did see the new one, yes.
Did you like it?
I enjoyed it, yes. Did you see the new one?
I have not seen the new one, but I've heard good reviews about it actually.
I enjoyed it. I mean, I feel like it does a good job of paying homage to the original while still being its own new thing. I feel like there's some mistakes towards the end that I find like okay. Like I mean, I don't want to blow the ending yet, but I mean, like I said, they were just I don't know. It felt like the motive just didn't add up to me too much. But either way,
Did you cut the sexual tension with the knife with Courtney Cox and David Arquette? You know, you think they're going to get back together?
I don't know. They definitely they did a good. They didn't have any scenes together.
Oh, upsetting.
So I don't know. I don't know what that. I don't know that they're gonna get back together. But
Oh, upsetting.
did you know that like David Arquette's gone like full crazy wrestling now?
I have, yes. It's funny. It's
Like,
one of
he,
my.
like, does like the barbed wire shit now and all this crazy stuff.
It is weird. Like it's funny because it's like I get recommendations with because with my Google Chromecast I get like recommendations for stuff, and yeah, they noticed I'm a big I watch some wrestling stuff on like YouTube or something like that, or I've watched it on WWE Network. On Peacock or something like that,
Right.
And yeah, that's actually one of the things. It's like you can't kill David Arquette. I'm like, I really want to watch this.
Like part of me wants to watch it too. Like I haven't yet, but I mean, I think it would be interesting at some point.
Yeah, and it just sounds like it's like, oh man, that sounds like a good idea because he really is a big wrestling fan. It's not like
Right.
It's not like he got kind of shoehorned in. Even he disliked him when he became. Oh yeah, basically that's a dumb decision. There we go. We're going back to the dumb decision. That's making David Arquette the WCW World Heavyweight Champion back in 2000. Yeah. Speaking of dumb decisions, that was it. I know it was a movie tie-in for a really crappy wrestling movie and Ready to Rumble, but you never ever make that happen.
I think, well, first and foremost, I got to correct some things that are wrong with that sentence. First and foremost, I don't think Ready to Rumble was that crappy of a movie. It's not the best movie, but there's a lot worse movies I've seen than Ready to Rumble. I enjoy Ready to Rumble.
It's crappy. I
enjoy Ready to Rumble.
It's one of those movies I watched as a kid and really liked it, but then like as I got older, I watched it. I was like, oh, I want to see how it is. Watch it again. I was like, man, that's a crappy movie.
Maybe I need to watch it again in 2022. But
yeah.
I enjoyed Ready to Rumble.
Yeah, but again, just going back to that, that's a really dumb decision, making him a WCW champion, the World Heavyweight Champion.
I think every decision that WCW made in 2000 was pretty much horrible.
It was horrible, but it's just that was the cream on top of the crappy Sunday. Really, was him making him the world champion.
It wasn't the Judy Bagwell on a pole match.
No, that's still no making David Arquette the champion. The worst. I mean, it was just bad.
I think he had a Viagra on a pole match in 2000 WCW.
Yeah, they had this thing called like a San Francisco 49ers on a pole match, but it was just literally like a box. That's it. Like it had nothing to do with the San Francisco 49ers.
Didn't they make Vince Russo one of the writers like the champion at one point that year too?
Yes, he did win he won the championship, I think in like the fall of 2000. I mean, it was just bad. Just the amount
like I said, I think everything in WCW was the worst in 2000. WCW.
It was bad, but it's just making David Arquette the champion. That's just woo.
Didn't they have a faction called like the West Texas Rednecks where they had Virgil as like Curly Bill in it?
Yes. Kurt Hennig was the main culprit.
Right. And none
Oh
of
man,
those guys are actually from Texas, I don't think. I mean, I think Kurt Hennig is not. I know Kurt Hennig and Virgil aren't.
no, I don't think so.
So, like I said, I think everything in WCW in 2000 was a horrible idea.
It was it was just a dumb decision all around for all of them.
And I mean,
Just making that.
And while we're talking about it in terms of bad promotional ties, Johnny Knoxville is slated to be in this year's Royal Rumble.
That could actually work. I mean, it's just him as kind of like a stunt guy. I mean, it's just I feel like he knows how to fall.
4, he's in the Royal Rumble this year.
By the way, I'm very excited for the next Jackass. I've always been a big fan of the Jackass movies. I'm very, very excited for Jackass Forever.
It's so stupid, but there's such funny stuff in some of those.
It is.
Like I hate that I mean, you're talking about guilty pleasure. Jackass is a guilty pleasure.
It is. I love you know what? I may go do that. I may just, once Jackass Forever really comes out, there's going to be deals on digital services for all 3 of the Jackasses. I may do that and just go and get them. Just buy the 3 Jackasses.
The 3 Jackasses.
Movie. And then probably buy like the actual show. As far as with that. Because yeah, I loved the show growing up. I mean, we did some stunts, with the push cart and all that,
Oh yeah.
We tried to do some stunts like that.
Oh, you got to, but
yeah, we did. We did try that at home, and we survived.
We sure did. Yeah, you also got to remember. I'm also looking forward to, I guess, in the new Jackass movie, Danger Aaron is going to get punched by Francis Ngannou.
Oh yes.
Speaking of which, Ngannou versus Cyril Gane this weekend, UFC Heavyweight Championship. I'm excited about it. Not excited enough to pay for it, but I'm excited about it.
Oh, okay. Yes.
I mean, I know you're not the biggest UFC guy, but Ngannou is legitimately, like, if he wins this, he is basically the next Mike Tyson.
He's going to go down as, the best.
Like, he just has that power that he could finish anyone off one punch. If it lands, it could be over.
Yeah, and Danger Aaron's really going after it.
Yeah.
He's testing the limits.
Yeah. So, like I said, I'm excited to see that fight, and I think it'll be great.
It is great. Yeah, I'm very excited for February. Yeah, as well. Yeah. We're gonna have Winter Olympics too. So I'm very excited. I want the
Winter Olympics, absolutely.
I'm very excited. And then you have the Super Bowl / Winter Olympics tie-in, which is going to be very, very interesting.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be great. Winter Olympics coming up. There's a lot of things, very exciting things coming up, and we can't wait. It's gonna be good. Any more bad coaching decisions that you want to bring up?
No.
I wanted to bring up Dennis Green kind of playing for overtime in the 98 playoffs that let the Falcons kind of go in and get to the Super Bowl too.
Right, yeah, got it.
It's kind of the same situation with that Ravens game. Like, you have one of the more prolific offenses of that era with Cunningham and Randy Moss and Chris Carter. Like, try to go down and kick a field goal, man.
I know it really is. Yeah, it was trying to bad, but it would have made it a 10-point game rather than a 7-point game. So it's just his decision wasn't bad. It's just
it's
really is his kicker. Yeah, but it's just like him turning into like Vic Fangio trying to get that final stop on defense.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which never happened. Yeah, but other than that, yeah, or him, letting the Bears come back. Really.
Basically, anytime you play for overtime in an NFL game, a horrible decision.
Yeah, more times than not, it always kills.
What about the Brandon Staley timeout a few weeks ago against the Raiders? Got to be up there too.
Yeah, that is a dumb timeout. Yeah,
because I think we discussed it. The Raiders probably run out the clock without that, right?
Yeah, and the Raiders would be a 7 seed playing against the or it would have been the Chargers who. I don't know.
Well, I think the Raiders were the 7 seed because the Chargers were ahead of the Raiders before that. because the Chargers
Yeah,
won the head-to-head before they tied. So it would have been Chargers. It would have been the Raiders against the Chiefs, which probably wouldn't have benefited the Raiders that much. So that's probably why they did try to win the game. But then
yeah,
you also would have had the Chargers, I think, would have been the 6th seed, and they
yeah,
would have gone up against the Bills.
yeah. The Bills, which that would have been a better. And then you had Pats Bengals. That would have been
Well,
a
anything
throwaway.
would have been better than the Steelers Chiefs game
Chiefs.
we got.
I know. Yeah, like that. Really, I mean, that's the reason why America was upset because of the tie. It wasn't because of like, oh
Right.
yeah, we're happy that one team. No, it's just like Steelers kind of back their way into a playoff spot, and then get all the fans' hopes up. But then, yeah, obviously they knew they weren't going to go to the Super Bowl. I think any realistic fan knew they weren't going to go to the Super Bowl.
Didn't Big
They were
Ben
just
in an
hoping maybe
interview
they pull
last
out one
week
of
say
those
that they
games.
had no chance?
Yeah, they had no chance.
No chance in hell you got.
They didn't. Yeah. I mean, just all these bad ownership. Just kind of these. I think bad ownership decisions too. Same with like Vince McMahon. Just allowing Stone Cold Steve Austin to keep coming back after firing him or something like that, giving his attorney to power to lend a big. Oh wait, yeah, I know it's a fake storyline. Sorry.
Yeah. I know. I can't believe he kept finding ways to get rehired.
God, we were so dumb as kids. We were so dumb. We were like, oh no, Stone Cold is gone. He's going to be gone forever. A month later, Stone Cold's back.
Yeah. 2 weeks later, he's beating up Vince McMahon in a hospital bed.
Yeah, he's beating up Vince McMahon. Like, it's just, oh, he's not gone. It's great.
He's fired, but he keeps showing up every week.
I know. This guy
There's no arena security at all. He just keeps getting in.
He keeps coming in, and then the arena security, there's arena security, but he somehow vultures in.
And somehow gets backstage and somehow gets control of the Zamboni and somehow gets it down to the ring.
Wow.
No one's guarding that Zamboni.
It was in Detroit, though, so the Joe Louis Arena security probably was a little bit laxed. So we gotta give that at least a little bit. But yeah.
Probably.
So yeah, he allows this guy to breed in a beer truck? How does this happen?
How did he get that by arena security? It's a whole beer truck.
It's a whole beer truck. No, they just, Stone Cold thought it was just like, oh, that's the dumb decisions. It's the arena security people,
How did he get the cement mixer in to pour cement into Vince McMahon's car?
I know that. Yeah, or he gets the truck, or he gets a truck, and dives off the truck, and the cops are just like, whoa. After, if he literally attacks him, he would go get arrested. But the cops are like, holy crap, that was amazing.
Oh man, such great memories. But yeah.
Yeah. Oh no, who's this mask person? Oh man. It's Stone Cold again. He keeps showing up.
He's been fired for weeks.
That's dumb decision on WWE's point.
Yeah. Oh man.
Oh. Yeah. Just some nice little thing to kind of put a bow on this episode.
I think so too. I think it was a great episode. Like I said, hopefully let us know if you watch this episode, which movie you want us to review. Is it Cliffhanger? Is it Under Siege 2? Let us know what you want us to talk about next week. We hope you enjoyed this episode. Thanks again for watching. Go back and watch all of our other episodes, and have a great night.
All right. Thank you. Peace.